New mimer. I was going to advertise we're starting a new mimer, but then I thought nobody cares. Okay, he's starting a mimer. Mimer is Zion. Presumably a new Indian, but the way we've seen Rabbi Tzadok work over the last 6 Maimarim is that he's building one on the other. So, truth is, nobody can start in Maimer Zion. Iker Kedusha Shabbos Yisod. Here's the Yisod. Iker Kedusha Shabbos Hu HaMenucha Boy. The main thing about Shabbos is that you rest on Shabbos. Huge Chiddush. Moshe Tiknu B'Tfila Ritzei V'Mnucha Seinu. That's what we say on Shabbos. Hashem, look at our menucha, meaning the biggest offering that we offer up to Hashem on Shabbos is not our refraining from the Lamatas Malacha, and it's not even our Kiddush, it's our menucha. Iker is the menucha. Yom Menucha U'Kedusha La'amcha Nasata. Another place in Tefillah. You gave us a Yom Menucha U'Kedusha. First thing being Menucha. Kedusha is only secondary. Menuchas Emes Ve'emuna. Menucha Shlema Sha'ata Reitzeba. So it's all about Menucha. Right? Menucha Shlema Sha'ata Reitzeba. But I mean, it goes further. Yakiru v'nacha v'yedu ki me'itcha hi menuchasam. Al menuchasam yakdishu Hashemecha. Amazing. It's amazing. Al menuchasam yakdishu Hashemecha. We're willing to die al kiddush Hashem for our nap. This is it. Al menuchasam yakdishu Hashemecha. It's like the so chashuv is the menucha of Shabbos that's called. That we the Jews have given up jobs and parnasah and even their lives for Shabbos is not for Shabbos. You would think it's because Shabbos represents the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. That's what you would think. No, I mean maybe yes, but not directly. Not so that we could make kiddush and not. It's for the menucha Shabbat.
Is that what it really means? It's just rest. I mean,
Well, we got to learn.
Yeah.
Uberbracious Rabbah, it says there, the Medrash Rashi brings it in Chumash, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the whole world, created the sun, created the moon, created the water, created the land, the birds, the animals, the trees, and then came Friday, he said, I created everything. And what did he see? He looked at the world, he said, the only thing that's missing over here is menucha. So he said, let me create Shabbos, maha yachaser, menucha, ba Shabbos, ba menucha. So here's another little chiddush in here, that kilu menucha is a bria unto itself. Or what is it, ba Shabbos, like the only thing missing in my bria is menucha. So it would be like a person's building. Let's say you're building a house, you're building. The only thing missing here is that I have to stop building. Like you have to stop. So it's more likely is that I need you have to build in a menucha into this binyan here. Like I created a wonderful. So if you look at it in time, it makes a little bit more sense. I've not creating the world, but I've created a perfect schedule for my day. Let's say. You go to your time management consultant, and you create a perfect schedule for your day. So what's missing? You look at, I got my exercise, I got my reading time. The only thing missing is my menucha. It's not realistic without menucha. So ba Shabbos, ba menucha. Shabbos is the Yom Menucha. So again, we're taking the most, maybe the most gashmias aspect of Shabbos, even more than eating, and we're saying that that's the ikar of Shabbos. I just want to mention a couple weeks just so we get clear here. I mentioned a couple weeks ago on Friday night we were learning about the Indian of Shabbos. It says in Mishpatim, just want to go over this Nakuda quickly. It says in Mishpatim that you should keep Shabbos. L'man yanuach shorcha v'chamarcha v'chol asher shorcha v'chamarcha L'man yanuach ha'ama asher b'sharecha or something like that. So, but the pasuk is Laman Yanuach, that you should keep Shabbos. Laman means because, or in order.
For the sake of.
For the sake of. Laman, that your shor and your chamor should rest. So we were talking, like we were learning on Friday night, is there an Indian of, okay, your shor and your chamor have to rest, or is it that resting is part of the mitzvah of Shabbos? Like, what does Laman Yanuach teach you? The pasuk of Shabbos and Shabbos is that you're not allowed to do lavates malachos. That's the simple litvish of Shabbos. You're not allowed to do lavates malachos on Shabbos, right? What does that have to do with your dog resting, or even your slave resting? So that's not part of my lavates malachos. What's the problem? So what's that have to do with resting altogether? Tell me that, okay, not only you can't do a malacha, but your behavior can't do a malacha either. Shvisas behemte. But that's how the Chumash says. The Chumash says, Laman Yanuach Sharva Chavarcha. So the Mashmois is that not only, I think this is the Mashmois, the Pashup Shah, the Pasuk is not only do you have to rest, but your animals have to rest also, meaning like your whole household has to stop. Just stop. Tishpais, says in Parshas Emor. So I want to point this out while over here. That it's very interesting, Agav, that the an Isser D'Rabbanan on Shabbos has a name that an Isser D'Rabbanan doesn't have anywhere else. An Isser D'Rabbanan everywhere else is an Isser D'Rabbanan. It's D'Rabbanan, Safek D'Rabbanan L'Kula. But on Shabbos it's called a Shvus. So why does it have a Shvus? We all know, right? Shvus. Shvus to Shvus. Shvus to Shvus, Baka Mitzvah. Eight Shvus B'Mikdash. We all know that when it comes to Chilul Shabbos, it's all about Shvus. So why did the Rabbanan all of a sudden need to have a special name for their Yisurim? It's the Rabbanan. But Deraisa, you're not allowed to eat Basar B'chala, Blois of Ashel, Geti B'chala, but the Rabbanan, you're not allowed to eat Milchas and Fleishes together. But the Rabbanan, it's not a Shvus. Why a Shvus? What's the pshat in that word? Shvus. So Shvus just obviously comes from the word Shabbos.
Shabbos.
And Shabbos means what? Like a Shvita. What's a Shabbos? Stop. So the Pashup of Pshat is that the Torah says lamates malachos, don't do lamates malachos. Stop. Stop sewing, stop winnowing, stop cooking, stop building, stop. Don't even be makiv pata, stop. And then, so it could be that a person will say, okay, well, I'll stop doing malachas, but I'll continue to, do other stuff. I'll organize my files. I'll exercise. I'll do whatever. I'll do other stuff on Shabbos. So, nimsur lashon of the Maggid Mishnah is nimsur hadavar liyad chachamim, to tell us that there's a gather. You can't just do everything. I mean, you don't have to lay comatose all day on Shabbos. I'm not allowed to do anything. You're allowed to walk to shul, right? You're allowed to do what you have to do. You're allowed to clear off the table. But so, on the other hand, is it okay to? You're not allowed to carry a feather outside, but you're allowed to carry 100 books inside from place to place. How does that work? So the answer is, it might be a chasar in taka and Laman Yanuach. So hadavar nimseru, this lashon of Maggid Mishnah. Hadavar nimseru liyad chachamim. It was given over to the chacham to decide, and the chacham took a lot of this from the Nevi'im even, where it says where the v'karasa l'Shabbos oineg v'dabru davar. They took a lot of it from the Nevi'im, but the chachamim were machlit what's called a chasarn in Shvisa and what's not called a chasarn in Shvisa, and that's what a shvus is. So a shvus is different than every d'Rabbanan. Like usually a d'Rabbanan is protecting a d'Oraisa. Like in other words, here's where you're going to go and you're going to fall into the ocean. So let's put the gate over here. Asus yag l'tar. That's usually what the d'Rabbanan are doing. Over here, the d'Rabbanan have a different function than they usually have, and that's to define what is considered a chasarin in Laman Yanuach. What's a chasarin in Menucha? Yeah, are you with me on this? I'm saying a lubdish thing. The Rabbanan are different. So we don't go with the regular klal of Safek Rabbanan L'Kula. It's not so pashut. Safek Shvus L'Kula is not so pashut. It has to be a Shvus Makkah Mitzvah. Where did the Rabbanan? So the Rabbanan had a chiluk between a Makkah Mitzvah or a Chayil Shem by Sakana. They had different chilukim than they have by any other D'Rabbanan. You don't find all these chilukim. We don't find that every suffix D'Rabbanan or every D'Rabbanan, for that matter, is mutter b'makom chol l'shem b'sachar. We don't find that. So this is a whole different thing. This is the Rabbanan defining what's Shabbos. So according to the way I'm telling you this now, do you see it as a deraisa or D'Rabbanan?
In between. It's close to those.
Closer to a deraisa in between, not a D'Rabbanan kipshute. Why? It's closer to a deraisa because they're just taking what the word means. They're saying pshat and Shabbos, or the way we learn now, saying pshat and menucha. Why is it in between? Because
it's not before. So the
either is lamites melachos.
Yeah. Okay.
So it seems like the lamites. So what's lamites melachos sachako? There is Chazal. Chazal pointed out. How do we know what malacha is? Well, it's samach l'mishkan, so we say these are the malachas. That's of course what it is. So it is D'Rabbanan, but of course you're over deraisa. So here, Chachams, the Torah says Lamanya Nuach, the Torah says in Parshas Amar, Tishbois, 8 times it says in the Chumash, Tishbois, right? So, and the Chachams say, okay, we know that the definition of malacha is lamites malachas. What's the malacha of Tishbois? So, okay, so Shvus, I'll tell you what it is. A Shvus. What's an example of a Shvus?
Climbing on a horse.
Huh?
Not climbing on a horse.
Or let's say easy, carrying in a Rosh Hashanah or in a Carmelis without an Erev. The only time you're really not allowed to carry is in a Rosh Hashanah. So what did the Rabbanan say in such a case? Yeah, but what do you carry? Now, how does an Erev help? Right, but I'm saying you're still exerting yourself.
Oh.
Okay, so somehow or another, the Chachamim, Nimsru Hadavar Li'ad Chachamim. The Chachamim are Chachamim. That's what they're called Chachamim. So Nimsru Hadavar Li'ad Chachamim to try to figure out, how to, what should be us or what should be mutter, and somehow they've made a chiluk between a karmelis and a Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah you are allowed to carry, but in any case, probably, if you are exerting yourself, you're over on Levad Yaduach. But I'm just saying the lashon of Shvus is interesting. Let me just read to you. I gave all shir on this, but I'm just going to read to you this one paragraph. There's the Ara D'Rabbanan, the Marit al-Ghazi. So, by the way, it's a beautiful little sefer. He was the Rav of Yerushalayim a couple hundred years ago. Marit al-Ghazi. And he did this particular Marit al-Ghazi on Bukharish is his magnum opus. So it's full of Yesodus and Halacha and Landus. It's good to learn Bukharish, just so you can learn the Marit al-Ghazi on Bukharish. That's what they say in yeshivas. Marit al-Ghazi, Bukharish, Marit. Rav Scheidberg, by the way, wrote a whole sefer on the Marit al-Ghazi on Bukharish, unpublished sefer, just on the Marit al-Ghazi on Bukharish. Tremendous Yesodus. So besides that, you did a study of everything Jewish to figure out if it's deraisa or D'Rabbanan. That's what the Ara D'Rabbanan is. What's deraisa? What's D'Rabbanan? Interesting. So he says like this. I just want to read you quickly, just a small paragraph. Shvus D'Rabbanan, a shvus, Risi Poi Yerushalayim, Petek Echad. He saw a Petek in Yerushalayim, Kosav B'Shem Haritva. I guess that's before they had Svarim in Yerushalayim. He found a little piece of paper, and on it had over from the found in the base Medrash someplace, and there it had over a vart from the Ritva. V'zel and this was the lashon. He copied it down. Barim Tzarech at leminda b'chol ma'ida amrina b'chol duchta shvus D'Rabbanan. Tzarech at leminda. The Ritva said you have to know. Leminda lashon das. B'chol ma'ida amrin b'chol amrina b'chol duchta shvus D'Rabbanan. Lav lemeimra. Doesn't mean change shvus min ha-Torah. Doesn't mean that the shvus, it's called the shvus D'Rabbanan, but it doesn't mean that a shvus is not min ha-Torah. Shim kain nimsa Shabbos kechol, says the Ritva, because if you're going to say a shvus, like let's say you would keep Shabbos deraisa and you wouldn't keep Shabbos midrabbanan, so your Shabbos would be like chol. You'd go to work, right? Maybe instead of driving there, you would walk to work. But you go into the office, you would sell, buy and sell and purchase. Maybe, probably if you're keeping your eyes, you'd even pick up the phone or the computer and send an email. Like there's very little, I just give you a bushel of number. I remember when I went to travel to Australia the first time with my family, so we stopped at, it was a lot of, I had like 8 kids traveling for 36 hours. So we stopped in Honolulu for Shabbos. Oh, it was so terrible. It's Honolulu for Shabbos. So, and it was very geschmack because we found that, Honolulu has 2 sides. There's like the commercial side of the island, which is Waikiki Beach, and then the other side, which is all military, on the, like Pearl Harbor and all. So that's on the other side of the Honolulu. So over there, for families of military people and everything, they have these hotels, which are much cheaper and much nicer and much bigger and much quieter. It's Mechai. So we had this like full apartment in there. But the point was we were going to be there for Friday, Shabbos, and Sunday travel to Australia, or Monday travel to Australia. So it's a suffix on the international date line. What's the story of this? So there the suffix is, in Australia the suffix is whether Sunday is Shabbos. In Honolulu the suffix is whether Friday is Shabbos. It's the other side of the date line. So Friday might be Shabbos, so to keep 2 days Shabbos, Friday and Shabbos was a difficult thing. So I asked Rav Scheinberg what to do. So he said to me, it's a suffix. He said, just keep the deraisas and don't keep the derabanan. So I said, okay, well, that's keeping 2 days Shabbos. He says, why? what deraisas do you do already? So I said, I drive, drabanan. I said, we'll go into a museum and we'll, take the kids. They have a Dole pineapple juice museum. We'll take the kids, drop on. Go out of the Tzlum Shabbos, drop on. So the only thing I wasn't allowed to do was make a barbecue. I mean, comes out. I mean, what he was saying to me is almost everything that we do at Shabbos.
You cook on Thursday. Oh, cooking on Thursday, right?
So you do the cooking on Thursday. Yeah, so we did. It was Thursday afternoon, trying to make barbecues and have food. And took it off, drop on Shabbos, and ate it on Shabbos. It was the bishul was on Thursday. Didn't make kiddush, didn't make it. And then we got in the car. We did all the things that were drove. I'm just saying, when you come down to it, most of our Shabbos is shus. I'm not lights and all kinds of. I said open lights, drabanan. Everything drabanan. It's very hard to actually be over Isha Deraisa on Shabbos, Muksa, Drabanan. So when we say, let's say, Ein Shvus B'Mikdash, they didn't there wasn't that much carrying, if it's not a Rosh Hashanah Deraisa, which is impossible on the island of Hawaii. The whole thing is Mukaf Mayin, Drabanan, everything Drabanan, So good. We're rabbinic Jews. I have no problem with that. But that was on Shabbos. But on Friday, we only did it was just an interesting experience, a learning experience for the kids as to what's deraisa, what's derabanan. So every move we made, every step we took, we had to analyze deraisa, derabanan. So it was good. So he says here, Tzarichat leminda b'chomai damrina b'chol duchta shvus derabanan lav l'meimer she'enar min ha'torah shimkei nimsa Shabbos kechol. Sha'chanuya is pesucha. It's all lashon of the Ritva. It's going to come out that your stores will be open. And you're going to be hanging out in the warehouse where the tvua and the yayin and the silo. You'll be carrying things, doing all your deliveries on Shabbos. Dara Carmelis, you'll just go through the Carmelis, which is all of our streets. Umaydadin, you'll be measuring. Drabanan, B'shaiklin, you'll be weighing. Drabanan, Umaynin, you'll count money. Allowed to touch money. Drabanan. It's all Madrabanan. Ve'inoi bedin shenes retayra haitzas kegreigeres. It doesn't make any sense, says the Ritva, that the Torah should aser haitzah kegreigeres, that if you're going to Rosh Hashanah with a fig, you're not allowed to walk because you're carrying vehitira ha'amal hagadol hazeh. Yet you're allowed to go to work and manage your whole warehouse and do all your deliveries and ride your horse. Drabanan. Everything is drabanan. Sheep kain ain't zayoy menucha, says the Ramban. So you see that all of the shvusim, hence the word shvus, the main point I want to make. The word shvus, as opposed to Rabbanan, are that which makes Shabbos a yoy menucha. It's all the shvus. Elakach ikaron shel dvarim. Ki b'chol mitzvahs esay shvush shel Torah. That it's part of the mitzvahs esay. Tishbais is everything the Rabbanan said, I'll tell you how to do that, so it's an essay, not a lois essay, it's a deraisa. So if it's a deraisa, how are you allowed to be bakel? The answer is that's how they built it they built it in that way. We didn't say this makom chaylu, we didn't say this makom mitzvah, we didn't say this makom shvus to shvus, ben hashmashus, whatever. They built into their taich, hadavar, nibsir, b'yad chachamim. Okay, chachamim have fun now and decide what Shabbos is. So the chachamim were keeping mamash a rabbinic Shabbos. Ki b'chol mitzvah say shvus shel Torah lishbais b'malacha yesh lishbais we call shvus derech klal like a derech shu'oisa b'chol avachol prat u prat ki avile v'zayir be'idach lo havi Shabbos havi shvus d'Rabbanan nimsa sheyesh lishbais. So the shvus of Shabbos, Iker B'dat Torah. So somebody said, okay, so now I'll take care of my kids on Shabbos. What are they going to do? The answer is the Rabbanan didn't ask that. They were practical. So you are allowed to take care of your kids. Let your wife do Shabbos. And you're not allowed to... Is it... Okay. Lefichach hamidu by chachamim divrayim litchais mitzvah shel Torah. And he says here at the end, the Rabbanan v'zumar galisa shebiyadenu mirabenu hagadol haramban zal. I guess that's the lashon of the Ritva Adkan. So the Ritva says, all of this I learned, fantastic yesod. I learned from Rabbeinu, this is a margalisa, this is a jewel I found, says the Ritva. This is a jewel I found, mirabenu hagadol haramban, from my Rebbe, the Ramban. Which is what he was. So we learned here Friday night. We learned the Ramban is in Parshas Emor, and he says, beautiful lashon, something like this. V'lazen noitim gam divrei haRambam perach tavdes chavdalim mehal Shabbos halach yibes. You could have a seat for a second. The Rambam says. Parachav Dalid Halacha Yud Beis. Osru Chachamim L'taltal Mixas Dvarim B'Shabbos K'derech Shu'oisa B'Chol U'mipnei Ma Nagoi B'Yisr Zeh. Where are the Chachamim coming from with Muksa and all of these halachas? Says the Rambam, Omru, they said, Oma im Hisiru Nevi'im B'Tzivu Shlayeh Hilukach B'Shabbos Ki Lukach B'Chol Madoch. The Nevi'im came along and said, hey, it's Shabbos, don't even walk the same way you're walking during the week. Don't even talk the way you're talking during the week. Shlit'a lukach v'dibura v'lo sichas haShabbos k'sichas hachol shedamar v'daber davar. So again, that's not the Nevi'im coming up with something new. That's the Nevi'im teaching the people how to keep Shabbos. Walk differently, talk differently. It's a different type of a day. That's the Nevi'im saying this. So says the Rambam, what was the pshat in the Nevi'im here? Only the Rambam was a nevuah. What's the kasha? What's the pshat in the Nevi'im? So he says the pshat in the Nevi'im is kedei shelo yiyeh ki yoyim chol be'einav. So it shouldn't feel like a weekday. V'yavoy lahagbia. What's going to happen if you feel like it's a weekday? Yavoy lahagbia. You're going to come to lift l'sakin kelim mipina lapina. You're going to carry things all around. You move around the furniture in your house. Because of Shabbos, I'm sitting in my house, I can't do malacha. What am I going to do? I'm going to find what to keep myself busy, and I'm going to start do construction in my house. Right? It becomes Honolulu. You can do everything. This is the beautiful part of the Rabbah I want to read you. Comes out that if you do all of the things that you're not supposed to do, all the Drabanans, all the Yisur D'Rabbanans on Shabbos, Batal Hatam, then you're losing the whole spirit of the mitzvah, or the reason for the mitzvah, Shenebar B'Torah L'man Yanuach. Because Sof Kol Sof, the Torah says, L'man Yanuach, so that you can rest. So so says the Rambam, beautiful, that if you're going to go ahead and not keep the Shvusim, Midrabanan, then you're being mevatel and essay l'man yanuach. So it's not really it's not really in between, really. It's not even closer. It is a deraisa, but it's not the lois essay of Shabbos. Loisasa kol malacha. It's the mitzvah's essay of Shabbos. The mitzvah's essay of Shabbos is every time you're exerting yourself or going. So every time you're violating a shvus, d'Rabbanan, so you're violating a mitzvah's essay of tishbais and laman yaduach.
So Rabbi Shimon apparently didn't hold that way, right? Because he said
Only because of the suffix Shabbos. It wasn't really Shabbos.
So
What he was saying was the Chiddush. You're right. The Chiddush he was saying was that here's a question of international daylight. So you have Machlekes the Ramban and the Baal Haber, and he said that the only reason it's the international daylight is because we're a choshesh for the Baal Haber who argues with the Ramban. The Ramban held that there was an Isser of Laman Yaduach. That's what he told me. There was the Ramban that held Isser of Laman Yaduach. The Ramban holds it's not Shabbos. So it's only your choshesh for the Baal Haber. You're only choshesh for the Baal Haber. He didn't hold it Laman Yaduach l'chayra. I'm not sure, but that's what he said. So Mabela, like there's no Isser of Shvus at all on a suffix Yom HaShabbos. Tremendous ramifications in halacha, but that's what we have. So my point is, it's not a like when the Welt learns something like this, they say, okay, like the Hasidic thing of Shabbos is menucha and kedusha, and the more halachic thing of Shabbos is lamed hazman. Not true. If you're talking about the Ramban, the Marital Gazi, the Rambam, the Iker Tam of Shabbos is Laman Yanuach. So you're back to like the way we learned it as kids, a day of rest. That's what we're told as children. It's Seder. There's also a din of the Bria. So so the Bria of Shabbos is a Bria of Menucha. Shabbos ba Menucha, or B'Tainus. The Gemara says in Tainus Chavav. L'inyan yoyim rishon sheyatza mimnucha v'oineg l'yagia v'toreach. The Gemara describes Sunday. See, Sunday, if you grew up in America, is like Shabbos Sheni Shogalius. A lot of there's blue laws in it. Like you can't work, you can't this, but you can't drive. It's like you can do all the derises without the derabbanans. Right?
Liquor stores are closed.
Right. So it's like you can be over the derises, but not the derises. Only shvus. It's only shvus. Like you're allowed to watch television, but you can't read the New York Times. You don't have to go to shul. It's a perfect day. Sundays. A lot of people say the only thing that they miss about America when they live in Israel is Sunday. And it's like that Sunday, there's a certain day, you wear your shorts. Davening's at 9 o'clock. It's a bagel, lots of bagels. It's a whole, I don't know, Sunday in shul when Rabbi Butzi was like a whole yoga de pager. The whole Yontiv had its whole ritual Sunday. I think we had more rituals on Sunday than the church.
Bagel breakfast.
I think so. That was bagel, lox. It was a big zach. Shear was full. I'm going to give a shear like at 10 o'clock in the morning. Lox of bagels and coffee. It was full for cheesecake. It was full. Sunday. Yontiv Sheni. Kia Adam. So let's understand what's going on here. So this the aside that we're talking about is how does now that we've explained it halachically and psukimly, that the aside of Shabbos is menucha. How does that fit into the whole Shabbos that we've been learning? What is the virtue, spiritual virtue of this menucha? We're convinced it's supposed to be menucha. Okay, you don't want Shabbos to look like a weekday, so you have to have a shvus. Shvus is deraisa. But what's the purpose of it? Why is it so important to Kadosh Baruch Hu that we rest? He rested. What does that mean? That's altogether.
It's a big question.
It's an excellent question. He rested is mashma that he's tired. Which is certainly a human weakness and human frailty. Menucha is not abstain. Menucha.
No Shabbos.
Okay, but we're talking about menucha. You're quoting a different pasuk. In other words, he rested. You're saying it doesn't say anywhere that he rested?
Shabbat v'yinafash.
Shabbos v'yinafash. V'yinafash.
Wait,
Ki Adam la'amo yulad. And here's the beginning of the Yisod. It's going to get very deep. Ki Adam la'amo yulad. I mean, you really have to fasten your seatbelts for this last mimer because this is his finishes everything off. Adam la'amo yulad. People are made to work. L'kach nature. That's how we're created. There's another Hasidic idea. Made to work. Like we're beasts of burden. Made to work. It's not like a kach noitzar. Loyle she bottle. Person's not made to sit bottle. V'ligrois atzmai b'shina and sleep as much as possible. That's not the creation of man. Like we're not created to do that.
it's after the chait though.
Maybe different work. We were already created. La'avdo l'shamra. La'avdo l'shamra. Different work. Zeh sapecha. V'gam adam arishan koydem hachet. Okay, there you go. You're thinking like Rabbi Tzadok. V'gam adam arishan koydem hachet nitein began eden la'avda u'l'shamra. Avodah. Ki adam. Why? Why does so? Before we talk about resting, you have to talk about. Before you talk about stopping to work, you have to talk about working.
Yeah.
So sheishes yamim tasem malachtecha. Even Adam Arishan Koydem Hachet, as you point out, La'avdo L'Shamra was supposed to be working in Gan Eden. He was the Menahel of Gan Eden, the caretaker of Gan Eden, La'avdo L'Shamra. Why? Ki Adam Nivra B'Tselem U'B'Tzmus. This has to do, says Rabbi Tzadok, with the fact that we were created in the image of Hashem. U'K'may Isa, and like we learned to Baba Basra, we covered this Gemara. Adam b'fnei Ashchina kikoif b'fnei Adam. Now, when the Gemara says that, when you're learning B'kiyas Baba Basra, Daf Nun Ches, you say, well, a person to the Shechina is kikoif b'fnei Adam is like a monkey before a man, meaning that the nechus darka of a person in front of a Kadosh Baruch Hu or in front of the Shechina is so tiny and so minuscule, so small, so unimportant. It's kikoif b'fnei Adam. That's the way you learn it when you learn B'kiyas, but that's not the pshat. The pshat kikoif b'nei Adam is a koif, a monkey, has a particular, Chazal talk about a monkey, a maisa koif. They're talking about monkey see, monkey do, which you don't say about cats and dogs, only about monkeys and children. Monkey see, monkey do, meaning that Adam b'fnei Hashchina is kikoif, Adam b'fnei Hashem is kikoif b'fnei Adam, meaning it's an imitation. We our job is imitatio Deus. We're kikoif b'fnei Hashchina. Our job is to imitate the Shechina. He says the Shechina probably means the midas of Hashem, the malchus of Hashem. So kikoif b'fnei Shechina. So it's all different. It's a good thing to be a monkey.
It's all different perspective on Tikkun Olam, because
To do what Hashem's, to finish Hashem's world.
yeah,
It's the correct perspective. So the idea of being B'Tselem Elikim is, okay, this is what Hashem does, this is what we're going to do. Hashem did Sheishes Yom Tasem Lachtecha. Why? For what reason? Because Hashem worked for 6 days creating the world, the sun, the moon, the trees, the animals, the birds. So since Hashem worked for 6 days creating the world, so now, as you call Tikkun Olam, now it's our job, Kikoif B'fnei Adam. Now we're the kupim over here, that we're going to do the busy work and complete the Bria, which HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Asher Bara Elikim, Lasois, that we're doing the Lasois part of it. So Sheishes Yom Tasem Lachtecha, I did mine, you do yours. So the Adam Lo Yulad was that I'm creating man. It's just so fascinating, so simple and so fascinating, but I'm creating man in Gan Eden to finish my work. Why? Not man that's finishing my work. If I'm just finishing it myself, then there's no Malchus. The whole point of the Bria is Malchus. So Malchus means that Ein Melech B'Layam. Malchus means I've created a corporation here. I've created a kingdom. I've created a situation where I'm not doing everything. I've created an organization here called the world. So since HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, Adam, you are the worker of this world. How should you work? Work like me. Sheishes Yamim, watch me. Sheishes Yamim Tasem Lachtecha. You're a monkey, watch me. this is what I'm doing. So all of a sudden, everything that we're doing all week long in work has to be godly. If you're going to be kikok b'fnei adam. If you steal, it's not godly. If you hurt people, it's not godly. If you destroy, it's not godly. Bal tashchis kol ilan. So the sheish Hashem tasam lachtacha is mamash ma'is Hashem. Okay, now Hashem stopped. So here's a new insight that if you didn't read this, you never had. I'm telling you that keeping Shabbos is part of the Tzelem Elokim. It's part of the Tzelem Elokim. Adam nivra b'Tzelem with the most k'may said Adam b'fnei Hashchina k'kayif b'fnei Adam k'may Yaakov shoysa kol masha Adam moiseh. If you're being followed around by a monkey, he's going to do everything you're doing. Kacha Adam b'dugma shalom Allah. Same thing is a person lifnei Hashem. And just like HaKadosh Baruch Hu created for 6 days, and he's mechadish the Ma'aseh Bereshis every single day. But Shabbos Nikra, what is Shabbos? What happens on Shabbos? Shabbos Nikra, Hashem Hashvita, because Hashem stopped creating. What was the word used? Abstained from creation. Kivoy Shavas Mikol Malachtoi. So now, this is monkey business. We're working here too. So now you do Shavas, we do Shavas. So the fact that we stop working on Friday night, Friday afternoon, is because we are imitating HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kamoshi Isa, we haven't explained why we should be imitating HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but that's what we need to explain. That's the deep part. To say that we were created b'Tzelem Elokim is easy until you try to figure out what does it mean. Not only what does it mean, is it physical, is it spiritual, is it Neshama, and why? Why? The big problem. Why? If I'm gonna build a car, I'm not going to build a car to look like me. Right. So even if I'm going to hire, somebody to clean, that doesn't have to look like me. But why does it have to be? Why? Why?
It's so interesting that in Shabbos, right before Shabbos, it's really the most difficult time of the week. And usually, when you're slowing down, you usually slow down. But Hashem created Adam, it's the pinnacle of creation, at the last minute, right before Shabbos. So what do we do right before Shabbos?
Right. Because unlike what you would think, see, I once was invited to lead a Shabbos, a scholar in residence, a Shabbaton, and they were talking about Shabbos was at 7:00, but at 3:00 in the afternoon they already had a program, and it was winding down for Shabbos, to ease into Shabbos, so I came to this program. I said, "Look, I know how to do everything here I'm supposed to do. I don't know how to do this. I've never done this in my life. Why? By me, it's the last minute and it's running, and what do you see on Arab Shabbos right before running down the street? The mikveh, out the mikveh, another store. This let's bet you the sponge. This is the most intense time. Who's easing into Shabbos? Cowbell music in the background. Who's doing this? It's just people do it. Even this business, which women are makabel, by the way, of making Shabbos on Thursday. I don't know if it's right. Might be more peace in the house. I hear that, but seif kol seif, it's mishatarach b'erev Shabbos yechol b'Shabbos. There's an Indian of the stress and the intensity, and which is a dangerous time. Agav, we're going to discuss this, so it's good you bring it out. You're thinking we're something, but the Arizal says you have to be very, very zahir on Erev Shabbos because it's a zman segula for machlokes between husband and wife. Zman segula. It's not enough time, of peace. It's a time like when every stress of the week and everything that you're not supposed to say, you say. Like that's what happens on Erev Shabbos. Arizal says you have to be zar with it because that has to do with the intensity of B'riyas Adam at that moment. That's the Nasira.
Mm-hmm.
The Nasira took place on Erev Shabbos.
Yeah.
That's when man and women were split. So this is not like don't schedule your counseling sessions
That's when
for Erev Shabbos Sabach LaMincha. That's not the right. It's not the right thing. It's not the right time. Now, what do you do? But why is it that way? It all comes down to this point that we are, because we're doing the God thing. It's not. We're not doing the man thing and making cholent. We're doing the God. The cholent is the Tikkun Olam.
That's what Adam was doing for the Chet, and he was doing the God thing.
You hear what I'm saying? The cholent.
Yeah. Yeah.
The cholent is taking HaKadosh Baruch Hu's bria and completing it, cooking it to death until we make it into something which has no remez at all to the original material. Like that went into it. In order to make a really kosher cholent, you cannot be able to discern the potatoes from the meat and the rice or whatever you put in your cholent, because it all has to be a cholent. That's what the word cholent means. But that's the ultimate tikkun olam. This is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to change things. Or that's the remez of a cholent. So suffice it to say for today that the yesod of Shabbos is the yesod of Tzelem Elikim. It's Almenu Kid Musenu. The yesod of Sheishes Yomim Tasel Laftecha, the fact that we are created to work, is because Hashem worked for 6 days, but on a deep level means that He did the Bria, we do the Bria. We're busy with the Bria. And then, we don't know any whys yet. All we know is that He's busy with the Bria, we're busy with the Bria, Kekoif Bifnei Adam, because we're in the same business. He does Shabbos, we do Shabbos, because we're in the same business. It's all one Malchus, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, down to this world. It's all one Malchus, all one thing. It's not two separate things. It's all one Malchus. What we still need to understand is, and here's the preview, is that a person that's created B'Tselem Elikim, we can be very superficial with that. Like, so if you'll ask, let's say, Goyim, what does it mean to be created in the image of God? Just go out in the street, Madison Square Garden and ask. So the answer is, like, don't be a racist. It doesn't make a difference if you're black or Chinese or everybody's created in the image of God. Equality. That's sort of level one of being created in the image of Hashem. If you move deeper into the Ramak and Tomer Dvara, you learn that the image of Hashem is the midos of Hashem. It's not about that we're created equal. It's about the midos of Hashem. Bahu Rachum, Afata Rachum, Bahu Chanun, Afata Chanun. You have the ability, says the Tomer Dvara, so beautiful. You have the ability to have the patience of Hashem, because we're created B'Tselem Elikim. This is our DNA, is that we're able to do things which are beyond human. Or, the way I always say it is that people say, I'm only human is very big. Only human is to be like Hashem. That's what only human means. But now we're going to get into something even more Kabbalistic, and that is, that a person is, the word Adam itself means Adameh, as I'll say, L'koinai. It's a dimyan. Person is a shtickle dimyan to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As I'll say, this just to blow away our minds, it's not just that we look like Hashem, but that Hashem looks like us. It's a Gemara. Daniel, in his Nevuah, said, "Whoa, Risi Asakise." I saw the kisei, and he said, "There's a dimyan to Adam, Adameh, Domeh, Domeh." So it's even a deeper thing than we have the DNA, the godly abilities to have patience, and that's very important. But there's something more over here, that there's that Adam is even a microcosm of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Like I say, if I'm hiring a slave, I'm not necessarily hiring a slave who looks like me. If a robot will do the job, it's even better for me. I don't have to deal with people, I don't have to pay them. But here there's something much deeper going on in the spheros. Hashem, as it manifests itself, the Adam. So that's what we're going to get to on Sunday. Monday.